It's beautiful, it's bittersweet, you like a broke.
All right. Welcome everyone.
Gigi, I've decided not to leave this town. Maybe I can stay.
I'm gonna wait a little bit here. Just enjoy the music for now, and let's see if people get the notifications or not.
Trusting your spirit, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
All right. We're just gonna start right now. Let's go ahead and start here. All right. So before we talk about scalping and day trading, let's go over the current market. So the market is looking pretty bad. We are at that target of 414, well, nearly there at 414.15 support. Like I said, this week, if you don't want to play the volatility in the markets, or if you don't want to see the sell-off happening, you don't have to play in the markets this week at all. And here's the reason, right? We are down to this 414.14 level, and we've hit this level after hours as well. So depending on how things go, tomorrow we might see a revisit of that 414.15-ish support level and then bounce. All right. Now, if you lose this one, we go right back down to the critical level of $400 because we have a gap here that we need to fill. All right, there's a nice gap here that we've never ever filled back in 2021. So if we were to fill that, that's even more downside movement. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go over kind of how to scalp here. All right, and I want to go over Airbnb because I gave my CFO Swing Watch members here last night a trade idea, as potentially a day trade idea. It was mainly a day trade idea. It could be a swing, but you know, with the current market volatility, it's highly unlikely that the swing trade is going to turn out to be profitable because everything's going up and down, up and down, up and down rapidly, right? Even intraday, sometimes the intraday movement is killing option contract premiums. So you don't want to have that type of of volatility in your option contracts. Now, of course, if there's volatility to one side, favoring your side, that's gonna be great, right? I'm not saying that that's not a great thing, but usually volatility is up and down, right? It's an oscillating price range that you do not want to be a part of, especially if you're in a certain trade and waiting for that one-sided trend to your favor, right? Now for Airbnb, I posted last night that it broke to the downside, all right, out of this wedge or symmetrical triangle chart. Now, here's the thing, okay? I said that tomorrow, okay, which is today, all right, this is what I said yesterday, so don't get confused with my diction here. I said tomorrow I want to see a potential short entry below 157. Right? And why did I say that? Why am I looking for 157? Why didn't I say rejection below 161 or something else, right? First off, I would not want to see a rejection at 161. Okay? Because that means we're going to be going back above the previous high today, which should give buyers or bulls a better chance to recover this name and break above 161. I want to see a high of today that was lower than the high of yesterday, and that's why the today's high was very favorable, because the high of today was 159.20, while the previous high of today, or PHOD, was 159.79. All right, so that's perfect. Now, why 157? Okay, so since we just went over the fact that I did not want to see another push up higher and then rejection for a rejection entry, okay, and hopefully you guys understood that. I was trying to look for other support levels that we can potentially break down as we headed lower. Obviously, it was an if, since I was talking about it yesterday. So as we were preparing yesterday, right, I wanted to see us kind of coil lower and lower and lower, and ultimately that's what we did. So if you take a look at the 15-minute time frame here, right? So wait, before I even go on to the 15-minute time frame, I'm getting myself ahead here. The 157.55 was a previous support level. So if I remove this ascending support trend line here, right, we bounced here a couple of times, right? And the previous past here, we used it as support as well, okay? And we use it as resistance as well here, multiple times. So with this level, all right, if we did indeed bounce, okay, so this is where the 15-minute time frame comes in, all right. So today, right, this is the we start the day right here, okay, right there. And do you see how we're trying to bounce that 157.55-ish to 50-ish level even on the intraday time frame, right? So here's the thing though, right? Remember, we want to see a high of the day that was lower than the previous high today, right? And that's the reason why, right, this movement was favorable to us to go short, because of the fact that we did not violate and move up higher than the PHOD, or the previous high today. And instead, we made a nice intraday double top, right? From the first top, or to the most left top, being yesterday's price action, and then our most right top here, or our second top, was from today's price action. Okay, so as we rejected off of 159.20, okay, we started bouncing around this 157.50-ish level, right? And that's fine, right? Because there was previous area support. But since we did not go back above to the previous high of the day's price level, we saw more sellers coming in, right? We saw sellers immediately after the initial morning pump, and then we rejected right away, right? And so as we start to push lower and lower and lower, right, our entry came in at 157. All right, 157. All right. Now, if you guys take a look back on the daily time frame, right? So here is the thing: when you're doing your technical analysis on the daily time frame, right, it's important where you know your levels are at, because those levels will matter even in the intraday time frames, right? A lot of people don't think it doesn't matter at a certain point, but it does. I've seen daily price levels, okay, where the price reacts off of those daily price levels on 1 minute time frames. Okay, so that should say something, right? And so on the 15-minute time frame or even the 5-minute time frame, it doesn't matter, they're still going to react off of the daily support or resistance levels. And so this 154.50 was a huge level of support on the daily time frame. And so if your entry was at 157, below 157, this would have been your entry. So on this candlestick, most likely, right? All right, or even this one, it wouldn't have mattered, right? This one or this one. So if you had a nice stop loss, okay, nice wide stop, well, not even a wide stop loss, it's a pretty tight one. At least a dollar stop loss here, you still would have been in, right? So as we're heading below 157 here, okay, the price continued to sell off, right? And you could take profits on the way down. That's the beauty about day trading or scalping, right? And especially with quick trades like this, right? You can continuously take profits, especially if you have multiple contracts, right? Because in swing trading, on the other hand, you need to be holding, right, until either you have your stop loss hit or you have your profit target hit. Okay, and that could take days, weeks, or months, right? Depending on the type of trade that you have in mind and depending on what the technical chart says. So as it came back down to the 154.50 level, most likely most people would have gotten out right here, right on this candlestick. Okay, and that's already fine. That's already a big move, right? That's already more than 3-point move. And contracts the contracts that I told my CFO Swing Watch members to look at was 150 puts that expired this week, right? That expired this week, and the contracts went from 1.85 to 2.40. So even if you had one contract, you still would have made quite good money for a couple of minutes. Right? So when you're scalping, all right, you need to know, right? You need to remember and know that your daily technical levels really matter. All right? And it's something that a lot of people tend to not look at because they're so, focused on the intraday time frames, which is fine. It's fine that you guys look at the intraday time frames and you're looking at the support and resistance levels that are being formed live, and you're continuously trying to react off of those price levels, off of rejection or bounces on those levels that are just being formed. That's fine. But remember, the most significant moves happen during a price reaction on the specific daily time frame price level that will coincide to any intraday time frame. Right? That's the number one key to success with scalping and day trading. Right? That's basically the same thing there. Okay? And I most of the people I know who traded 7, 8, 10 years, more than 10 years, who are day traders or scalpers, the first thing that they always tell me is that they look at the daily time frame. They look for the most important and significant level on the daily time frame because they also know, right? They also know that such specific significant levels on the broader time frames, the bigger time frames, right? On the daily time frames, weekly, monthly, doesn't matter. But the most important is daily, right? If they know the levels on the daily time frame, the intraday time frames will also show the price reacting to those specific daily levels, right? And so Airbnb follows exactly the same price levels, right? And like I said before, right? Realistically speaking, if you guys got in, you would have gotten in this, right? On this candlestick at the first sign of the this rejection towards 157, and then a break below 157, okay? And then you probably would have gotten out on this first candlestick. Right, that's fine. That's already more than 3-point move, and the contracts went from 1.85 to 2.40 just off of this little move. Right, and if you're wondering why the contracts moved a lot, well, because they're weekly contracts. So if the price is moving in your favor, those weekly contracts will be very, very volatile since they're about to expire. right? And especially if you get the right contracts and the price moved in your favor, they will gain a lot of premium intraday. And that's when you can take some profits. And you can also rinse and repeat using those same two levels here, right? The 157 and 154.50. Right? You would have two chances here just based on one name and based off preparing the other night, right? So you could have played either a bounce at 154, or if you want to be level-headed and stick with the bearish outlook on this name, right? Since on the daily time frame, remember, everything matters on the daily time frame, even if you're scalping or day trading. Okay, we have broken to the downside. Right, we've broken to the downside. Right, so it would make sense if you want to hold a bearish bias for the day, especially if you want to see a continuation to the downside. So on the 15-minute time frame, right, if you want to see another rejection at 157, you got your opportunity after that bounce at 154.50ish, right? And you could have had that second opportunity to short at 157. And then guess what? You could take in profits again at 154.50. Sure, you would have most likely gotten out exactly at 154.50, and you might be hitting yourself, right? If you did, right? Let's say you did, you might be, completely hitting yourself in the head, saying that, oh my God, why did I not stay further, right? Why did I not stay in the trade a little bit, few more minutes here, and I would have gotten more profits in the first trade, right? But remember, you guys will always have regrets. And also, the price came back down to another support level again. And what do we see the price doing when it came back down to this 154.50 level? It bounced, right? So you still most likely would have gotten out at this level, because based on the previous price history, which was a few minutes ago, right? Based on these candlesticks, it bounced. So you still would have gotten out for profits. Okay, so here, this is one of the most valuable lessons that you can ever take when you're taking profits, because even if you have a perfect entry, right, you will never ever have a perfect exit, no matter how many times you try to perfect a certain trading strategy, especially a scalp or day trading strategy. Okay, because you will always regret not holding longer or not getting off faster or earlier. You'll always feel like that, no matter if you have prepared, okay, the entry price, the stop loss, okay, the profit target. Okay, it wouldn't matter, because the profit target, you'll always feel regret, no matter how many profits you've made. Right? I've seen people make $30,000 per in a day, right, day trading, and they will still be regretting that they haven't gotten out earlier, or they haven't gotten out later. Okay, so there's no point sulking in the fact that, hey, maybe I should just held a little bit more because the price came back down to 154, and there's a lot more sellers coming in. You wouldn't have known that, right? All you were doing is just playing off of these two levels, right? 157 and 154.50. Does that make sense? Okay. Hi Dion, welcome. Joel, welcome. Will this be saved on YouTube? Yes. Everything is automatically saved on YouTube after I finish the live stream. Okay, so that's a great thing about YouTube. I don't have to post like on Instagram after the live, because YouTube automatically posts the entire live, since it is recording as I'm live. So it's default. It's a default action that YouTube does for me. So, I mean, there's nothing else that I can really give you about scalping day trading, because that's how simple it can be if you keep it simple. Now, like I said before, guys, you have to be looking at the daily time frame. All right, focus on the daily time frame. I mean, let's take a look at another name, Tesla. Right, Tesla today. Simple. Right. So what were the conditions for Tesla today, right? So earnings, we already got earnings, right? So this is great, because you want to trade a name that's after earnings. You don't want to trade a name on earnings day, or even a little bit before earnings, and gamble earnings, right? So now, if you guys are wondering why I say do not trade after earnings as well, because price can be very volatile, very volatile. Okay, There are certain traits that you should not take, especially if you're still learning. And one of those traits is not playing ER afterwards. All right. Now, I rarely take trades on day after ER, but when there's an opportunity, I will take it. Okay. I'll talk about more on after ER trades in a different live. But it's one of those things that you never want to be really be doing at a certain level, especially if you're a beginner. Okay. But nonetheless, just focus on making trades that work for you and that you understand, right? You don't want to be focusing on trying to make a trade with all this volatility. Does that make sense? Now, with Tesla, right? It was acting very, very strong compared to the markets. Okay, if you guys take a look at the previous like 3-2 trading days, right? Look at this. Right, the market moved more than 30 points here from yesterday, right? Yesterday candlestick to two days ago here, right? Oh, well, from this point forward here, well, backwards. So 1, 2, 3 trading days, right? The market flushed, but Tesla here, right? Look what it did. It's still stuck. It was still stuck between the range between 973 and 1034. Okay. So this is an opportunity again, right, for Tesla. And if you take a look at the 15-minute time, oh well, actually not yet. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we have our significant level of support at 973.50ish, and then we have resistance at 1034. Very clear levels. Again, two levels again, right? And if we take a look at the 15-minute time frame, right? There could have been a possibility that today, when we opened up, right, we could have gotten a nice big pump up towards the 134, but we didn't. Instead, we came crashing down and we touched that 973.50 level, and then we flushed below 973. Okay, and that could have been a very, very good scalp here, right, as we came up to another daily support level at 943.50ish. Right, and you could have sold, right? I mean, you're using daily levels, right? You're using daily levels on scalps because they work, because such levels, right, daily levels are significant to intraday time frames. Okay, hey, welcome everyone, welcome. Thank you, Chris, for joining. Nilesh, what's up? Thank you for joining this late night session. I hope everyone has been great. So for the people who are just joining, you might want to go over the recording because I talk about very important things on scalping and day trading. And it's not my forte. It's not my strong point as well for scalping or day trading, but I know how to do it, right? And there is a correct way to do it. And there's a way to simplify it to a point where you don't need to be so stressing about so much with day trading, because scalping and day trading can be very, very stressful, right? In my own perspective, since I'm a swing trader, it's a lot more stressful than swing trading. Okay, other people might see it the complete opposite way, right? But to me, it's like that, right? So if you guys want to disagree, that's completely fine. There is no exactly 100% correct perspective or mindset to have in the markets. All right, but there is a way to correctly trade. And so with scalping and day trading, right, you need to realize, once again, for the people who just joined and who did not hear my breakdown on Airbnb, which I posted last night for the CFO Swing Much members, okay, when you want to scalp, you need to know where the significant daily price levels are at. Okay, I said it as slowly as possible, because those significant daily price levels, whether it be a resistance or support, will still be significant on the intraday time frames. I have a lot of day trader friends who have told me every single time that the first thing that they do when they analyze a stock technically, they look at the daily time frames and then go to the respective intraday time frames, okay, to see if there is any type of price reaction. And usually there is always a price reaction in the intraday time frames on that specific daily level, especially if it's significant, right? So again, 973, right? Break below 973 was a short entry. And then most likely you could have gotten out at 943, and it's already a huge move to the downside. And where did I get this 943.50-ish level? Where? Well, it was a level of resistance, right? And since it was a previous level of resistance, in your head, if you play Tesla, right? Let's say you're actively playing Tesla on the 15-minute time frame, right? This 943.50-ish level here. Let me bring it back. Okay, so this level right here, right? If you got short at 973 on this candlestick and immediately flushed, right? And you don't like to stay in the trade for too long. That's fine, right? That's fine. This is one candlestick here. Is 15-minute time. Is a 15-minute candlestick, right? So let's say you like to stay in for a couple of minutes. So 15 minutes maybe might be your maximum that you want to stay into a trade. And if you got it at 973, this would have been a perfect trade to move to the downside, right? And to capture all the profits as Tesla goes lower and lower and lower. And you could have taken profits at this 943.50 potential support level. And why do I say potential support level? Again, we go back to the daily time frame again. And we saw that it was a previous level of resistance. So there's a possibility that this level would have been a support today if we didn't have the market pushing lower and helping Tesla to the downside, and if we didn't have corresponding news and investor fears that Elon Musk might sell shares to finance more of the Twitter buyout. Okay, so do you guys see how when I'm explaining things, the news usually comes last? Okay, so usually the price action tells you everything first. Okay, so you guys have to remember that, right? Don't get stuck into that rabbit hole of news. Just because you saw news on a certain name, don't think that you will see that certain stock rocket higher at market open or rocket lower at market open. Okay, that's not something that you guys should be expecting. Right now, for Tesla, right, like I said, or Airbnb, you want to be looking at the daily time frame levels, and then you can switch back to your intraday time frame levels. And if you guys are kind of skeptical on the fact that the daily time frame levels aren't really important to the intraday time frame levels, go ahead, go look at your charts, okay? And on Apple, any very liquid name, Amazon, whatever it may be, look for significant price levels and go down to even the 1 minute or the 3 minute time frames. You will see the price reacting off of those daily time levels. Okay, so that's how you can really simplify day trading or scalping. All right, I'm not afraid to say that I'm not a scalper or day trader, because I'm not, right? But I know how to simplify day trading and scalping to a point where it can be a system for you that works, right? And the most simplest system that works is this, where you're looking at the daily time frame and you're looking for significant price levels, and then going back to the 5 minute and 15 minute or 3 minute or 1 minute, it doesn't matter, right? But if you guys want to know what specific time frame pairs that people like to use, well, specifically for me, I like to use the 5 minute and the 15 minute together, while others like to use the 1 minute and the 3 minute together, right? But no matter the time frame, you will see the price reacting off of those specific price levels on the daily time frame. Does everyone understand? Hopefully you guys understand, because that's how simple it can be. Really, I don't know what else to tell you, because that's just the way the price works. The price action works, right? And if you really want to get good at scalping and day trading, focus on the daily time frames and look out for those significant price levels. And if you guys are struggling to find significant price levels, DM me, ask me, right? Ask me if I see a significant price level on the specific time frame, which should be the daily time frame first, okay, for that specific ticker. All right. So, of course, Joel, dude, you just helped me out a lot. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, it doesn't have to be hard, really. It really doesn't have to be hard. And obviously, we had great movements out of Airbnb and Tesla because the market continued to go lower. There was direction, right? Which is another reason why when day traders or scalpers don't trade, it's usually a day when there is no direction in the overall markets, right? Because when the overall markets tends to have a huge move to either one side, right? It's a perfect day for such type of traders, right? Day traders or scalp traders, okay, to have great winning trades. Because well, the market will help in that specific trade that they're looking at for the specific scalps or day trade, right? And in this instance, Tesla and Airbnb were pushed lower thanks to the market going lower as well. Okay, but do you also see how when I analyze things, I'm not looking at the market first, right? I look at the market as a benefactor towards that specific trade that I looked at. Does that make sense, everyone? Right? I look at it as an additional help to the trade, right? Because both Airbnb and Tesla today were helped by the markets. Because if the market didn't have such a volatile move to the downside and violent move to the downside, I'm sure, and also without the news on Tesla, right, or fear from investors, right, about Elon Musk selling shares, okay, we could have bounced at 943.50, right? But we barely did. Okay, there was a little pop here and another open at the next 15-minute candlestick, which is why I would expect that people would have gotten out at 943.50. Okay, so it can be very simple, very simple, right? And I've seen people, sure, let's say I'm trying to find the most non-perfect way that people trade, right? So let's say people completely missed out on this entire move and people are having FOMO, right? And this is where the 15-minute and intraday time frames can be a little bit more, just a teeny bit more important, okay? Especially if and only if, okay, here's a little asterisk there that I want you guys to remember in your head as I'm saying this, all right? If and only if the price is nowhere near a significant price level, either a significant level of support or resistance. And if you guys take a look right here, in this entire area here, okay, sorry for the lag, guys. I don't know why my cursor was lagging there. If you miss this entire move, right, you could still have played a potential micro bearish flags, because a move like this to the downside, right, move like this to the downside will warrant more downside. Okay, so there's multiple opportunities here to catch and scalp and move into the downside. So you have a bear flag here, and we have another wedge pattern which broke to the downside as well. And eventually we came back down to the daily support level again at 886 flat. Does that make sense? Right? This level was on the daily time frame. Okay, it was used as a previous level of support and resistance. Do you see how every single time, even if I'm looking at the 15-minute and intraday time levels, even on the 5-minute, okay, I could do this forever. 1 minute, okay, you will still see the levels being formed here, right? So, I'm always going back to the daily time frame. If you don't like the daily time frame because you're more a scalper and day trader, well, sucks to say this, but you need to know the daily time frame levels. You can't just rely on the intraday time frames, because you will get a higher opportunity to get better entries and better profit taking areas, okay, based off of the daily levels. Does that make sense, everyone? a thumbs up or whatever you guys want to do that you guys understand. I know, Joel, you understand. And yes, you're welcome. You got to practice. Exactly. And this is the reason why knowing how to do technical analysis well on the daily time frame and the bigger time frames are so important. Dion, you said I've been having success at catching retests of levels. Well, there we go. Right? And if you notice, Dion, right, based on the previous trades that you've been doing since the start this year, right, you notice that daily time frame levels are very important on the intraday time frames. It doesn't matter what intraday time frame you're looking at, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, it doesn't matter. All right, it really doesn't matter. I've seen so many people fighting over which intraday time frame is better, and why? Just why, right? There's nothing to be debating about, right? It's all dependent on what you're comfortable using. Okay, there's no better time frame to use ever. What you need to know is that there are levels that are more significant compared to other time frames. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you guys for the confirmation there. You guys understanding, right? So I kind of want to make it serious here because, you know, a lot of people tend to make day trading so hard when it can be so simple based off of daily time frame levels. All right, and guess what? Tesla, you could have just traded based off these 3 levels here, right? All of these 3 levels. That's it. And Airbnb was what? 2 levels. I mean, how easy is that? Right? 157 and 154.50. 157, 154.50. Easy. Done. Alright? So, you know, for all the people who are in the CFR stream watch right now, I'm also going to post and kind of scan for another day trade that you guys can take tomorrow. Okay? But like I said, the market is very volatile. So if you want to stay out, even for day trading, I recommend you guys stay out. Okay? I think currently right now the market is bouncing here. Yeah. So the market is kind of bouncing. Makes sense. All right, we reached this level here, the support level, and I emphasized this yesterday, or not yesterday, the previous live that I had. Okay, so you can use this information however you want to use it. Okay, so you know, it's just one of those things that you can really simplify when you have your eyes open, really. And when you're day trading or scalping, don't get too invested into how the market is moving. All right, if you're if the specific ticker that you're looking at and that you want to day trade or scalp, okay, focus on that first, and then try to check where the market sentiment is at. Okay, because I've seen so many people fall into that pit, into the rabbit hole of, you know, because of the fact that, let's say, the market is either going up, right? They think that their ticker that they're looking at to scalp or day trade is also going to move up. And you have no idea how many times I've failed and how many others have failed trying to use that method, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because you already have an initial bias just based off the overall market movement that you start placing on the specific ticker that you have. And usually at that point, when you're past that point, you throw out any preparation that you had the previous night on that specific name because you have a specific bias based off the market sentiment and market movement. Does that make sense, guys? If that makes sense, leave a thumbs up on this live stream, guys. If everything that I said so far makes sense and is some valuable knowledge here, make sure you guys leave a like on this live stream video. All right? So remember, guys, it's not about always looking at the intraday time frames. It's never been about that. Okay, you have to be focusing on the daily significant price levels. Okay, all right. So I'm hitting that 40-minute mark here. All right, I just wanted to give you guys a nice, quick lesson on how to scalp and day trade. It can be as simple as I've explained this so far the past 35 minutes here. Okay, and it will only be simple once you start practicing, just like Joel said here. Okay, so practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the more you realize that what I'm saying is true, because it is true, right? And day trading can be so simple if people have this mindset that you can play off of 1 to 2 levels that are forming on the daily time frame, right? And you can also realize that you don't have to scalp or day trade a certain name, especially if that price is not or anywhere near the daily time frame levels that you have, which is where your patience will matter most. Does that make sense, everyone? Right? And if you guys are ever wondering, where do I stop day trading or where do I not day trade today, this specific ticker? Well, just by looking at the daily time frame. Literally, that's it. Right? If the price is nowhere near any other significant price levels, you don't have to trade at all. You don't have to scalp or day trade because the price has not come to that significant price level just yet. And what you need to be waiting out for and be patient for is when the price rejects or bounces or whatever it does on that significant daily price level. Have I made that clear today? Hopefully I did. Right? Because I've seen so many people overcomplicate things with indicators, with specific strategies that are supposedly 100% effective and all this other complete BS, right? When all the answers can be given to you on the daily time frame. Right? So flush out the bullshit, right? Take a look at the daily time frame, do your technical analysis, see where the price is at. All right, look for potential price reactions off of specific support levels or resistance levels. And once the market opens the next day, you're prepared, because if the price reacts off of that certain level, you get your entry. Now, of course, you guys should already be prepared with your entry, stop loss, and profit target. Right? If you're not, then don't trade. All right, do not trade. If you don't have any idea of where your entry or your stop loss or your exit is at, don't trade. Okay, I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, do not trade if you don't have a game plan. I've seen so many people trying to force a trade when they don't have a game plan. It makes no sense to me, right? I even tell them, and they still do that. Right? So, like I said multiple times here, right? You want to be looking at the daily time frame, look for the levels, and look out if the price is going to react off of those levels. And guess what? You can still use alerts. All right, little secret, you can still use alerts. You can have alerts set up on those daily significant price levels and use it when it goes off on your intraday time frames. Right? Mind-blowing stuff. Okay, guys. So I just want to be a little bit serious with you guys here, right? Because I've seen so many people overcomplicate day trading and scalping for no reason. All right? So, I really want you guys to really understand the importance of simplifying scalping and day trading. Right? And I think the most important problem here, before I leave you guys here, okay, that people have is that they don't know when to trade and when to not trade. And I just explained to you guys, right? When to trade and when to not trade is when the price is, for example, if you don't know when to trade and if you don't know when to not trade, right? Just take a look at the price on the daily time frame. Is it anywhere near your significant price levels that you've drawn on the daily time frame? If yes, then you can scalp or day trade and wait for that price to react off of those significant levels that you have drawn on the daily time frame using your intraday time frames. And if the answer is no, then stay patient and do not trade or force any trades for the day. That's it. That's literally that's it. Like you don't need to do anything else after that, right? It's that duality right there that you just had to worry about. All right, so it's something that I'm really passionate about, keeping things simple. Okay, so if you guys have been really overcomplicating things, I hope I've opened up your eyes and your minds on scalping and day trading. It never has to be hard. All right, and all you need to do from this point forward is practicing and practicing and practicing, especially practicing your patience. Did I make that clear, everyone, tonight? You guys give me a bunch of thumbs up already in the chat, so I'm assuming that I have made that point clear. Okay, so by the way, guys, I hope you guys can hear me really well. I decided not to use my headset here with the microphone, so I mean my voice is usually booming, and I didn't really want to blast your guys' ears with my voice using the microphone. So hopefully you guys can hear the music in the background. The music should be very, very tiny. So if you guys are hearing the music louder than my voice, I apologize. I should have fixed that earlier. But always let me know if the audio is fine. Hey, thank you so much for joining, Chris. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your nightly routines. Like as usual, guys, I really appreciate you guys for even coming in here to listen to me, to help you guys with your trading journey. I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. It's always been a great passion of mine to have people, really realize their full potential, and really help them out in their trading journeys, right? Especially with their trading. So I really thank you guys for coming in, interacting with me tonight, and even just joining this live. Okay, so tomorrow, see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the live again. And Nilesh, you said, Andrew, you think we will add a channel for calls? Yes. Yeah, so I'll be making that channel tonight. Thank you for reminding me, Nilesh. I'll be adding a members trades, okay, channel for you all. All right, so yeah, based on newsletter, knowing everyone can't take every trade. Yes. Okay, so if you guys know anyone who wants to scalp or day trade, show them this live. Just share this live, right? Or people who are struggling, let's say, to scalp or day trade, just share this live. It should be a very eye-opening live stream here for them to look at, because it should be. It's very simple. All right, so that's that. Okay, for the people who are in the CFA Swing Watch watching this live right now, watch out for that new channel to be made where you guys can also put in your own trades that you want to show the rest of the members in the Discord. All right, so I hope you guys have a blast in that channel. I'll be looking at who is making great trades or not. I know that you guys are making some great trades on your own, so hopefully you guys can share that with the CFO community. But with that, I'll leave you guys off tonight. Thank you all for joining. I'll see you guys in the next live stream, which is tomorrow at the same time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, have a great rest of your night and good luck trading tomorrow.